you find yourself lost in Irvingland. Last time, a cosmic storm came up out of nowhere. Dr. Smith was working on a painting and insisted on running after it when it blew away. John went after him, but a big storage tank of some kind broke loose and is about to squash the two of them. Just leave him.
Come on!
Just leave him.
My masterpiece! My masterpiece!
They really are too nice for their own good. They'll never figure out that the best thing to do with Smith is leave him to his folly. And by the way, artists don't call their works masterpieces. Other people do. Or don't. Who's he? We don't know yet, but after the opening credits, he'll fiddle with something on that machine and turn the storm off.
Why, it stopped.
Like somebody turned it off. Now, well, the damage is done.
As we'll learn, that was the idea.
This is all of the condensation unit I could find. Oh, great. Look, you and Judy get started on the garden right away. Oh, and until our food supply returns to normal, we're going to have to get by on emergency water supply and high-protein pills.
Well, we haven't very much of either, John.
Well, we're just going to have to make do with what we've got.
Their entire food and water supply was destroyed. Oh, and there was one other casualty.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And this is the way our world ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper.
May as well make the best of it.
I think I'll have a burger and fries. All right, there you are. One burger and a fry coming up, with a milkshake to top it off. What will you have, Will?
Barbecue sandwich is fine for me.
All right, fine. Here, I think you better wash it down with a little water.
Of course, every party has its pooper. That's why we invited Dr. Smith.
I cannot go on this way. I simply must have some food.
Stop your belly aching, Smith. We're all in the same boat.
This chemical concoction may be sufficient for you and the others, but it hardly whets my appetite.
That protein capsule contains more than enough nutrition for your needs.
Perhaps for the average man, Major, but I burn up more energy than the average man.
Well, then I've got just the cure for you, Smith.
And what is that?
Don't talk so much.
Dr. Smith storms off while everyone else laughs. As usual, Will goes after him.
I wonder what it means.
Let's follow the arrow and find out.
There's a whole trail of them, and they lead to...
Good heavens.
What do you think it is?
I haven't the faintest idea.
From here, it looks like an interplanetary flea market. I think I see where the fleas came from. Our mystery guy comes out of that ship and calls the dogs off. My neighbor and I were just talking about that the other day.
Don't you speak English, sir?
Ah.
Oh dear. I'm afraid we'll never be able to communicate with him.
Oh, yes, you will. This is my language duplicator. It enables me to speak any tongue in the firmament.
I want one. I can trade you a really cool t-shirt collection.
I am the trader.
And I am Irving. Now about that hat.
Now, if there are two things that a trader loves, it is good company and good business.
Well, we can certainly supply the good company.
I'm sure you can.
What business are you in, Mr. Trader?
Boy Genius just asked a trader named Trader who introduced himself as the trader what business he's in. They need food. He has tons of it. What do they have to trade for it? They head back to the ship to discuss with the others.
What, may I ask, is that?
Mom and I found a new recipe. Hamburgers made from dehydrated green beans. Look, try it. You'll love it.
Veggie burgers! Talk about being ahead of your time. But of course, Dr. Smith can't stop whining because the family rejected the trader's offer.
Now, we can get along without making any deals with the trader.
Sure. There are more important things in life than just food.
The ignorance of that remark is excusable only because of your extreme youth. Good food is one of the important joys of living.
Well said, Dr. Smith. Trader, At your service.
Everybody in the universe knows how to do that except us. It's embarrassing.
Let me show you a sample of my wares.
Oh,
Now, if you will make a list of your needs, we can get down to business.
we can get to that later, sir. First, let's discuss this magnificent bird.
Very well. What am I offered for it?
He suggests Don's laser pistol, as if. John says, we don't need your services. Tonight or ever. We'll get along without you.
Then, if my services are not required, I will leave you. And if you should require anything, I will be at my store.
I couldn't deprive you of that. The trader goes back to his shop and turns on his storm-making machine.
And now, they'll have to come to me. First, I'll give them a little food, just enough to whet their appetites, then a little bit more, and finally, they'll trade me what I want, an earthling.
Hey, what kind of deal will you make us for Dr. Smith right now? We may get the chance to find out, because guess who's off to see the wizard even as we speak? He's talked Penny into giving up her tape recorder for the cause.
Now then, upsy-daisy, let's see what we have here. Oh, what a pretty little box, my goodness. It's full of fun, this. Yes, yes, indeed, it's lovely. Yes, it's very nice indeed, very nice.
Very nice indeed, and by his standards, I get the feeling it's so primitive he's not even sure what it is or what it does. He knows it belongs to Penny, so he won't deal. He doesn't believe in exploiting children's vulnerabilities. Even the trader has some standards. That makes him a level 23 in morality, 3 plus 18 plus 2 levels above Dr. Smith. Penny assures him she won't change her mind, but he says, that's my policy. No exceptions.
Look, the flavor is peppermint today, strawberry tomorrow, and then orange, and then lemon. And then after that, 100 different flavors for a long, long time.
This'll last forever?
Only as long as you remain young in heart.
Oh, thank you.
You can see Smith drooling over it. Once Penny's gone, he'll try to help himself to one.
Now go along and have a good time.
As I said, Dr. Smith decided he'd like one too, since the trader seems to be handing them out. Except he didn't hand that one to Dr. Smith.
I would put it back if I were you.
Why? Do you object?
Oh, no, not I. They do.
He puts it back. And now it's time for the trader to show the bait to his prey. He says, I have as much food as you could want, and I'll trade you a bunch of it for the robot.
If you could manage to trade that machine, I'd give you all the food you could possibly eat.
How long?
A week.
Make it 2.
10 days.
12.
Done. You're a shrewd trader, Dr. Smith.
Yes, sir.
And then what? When that food runs out, you're right back where you started, except you don't have an environmental control robot anymore. Greatest mind in the universe can't grasp that.
Come on. Imagine that. He loves a robot like a brother. And yet, he was prepared to trade him for a little bit of food. It would seem that I have found my earthling, Dr. Smith.
He's doing like a predator on the savannah. Pick off the lazy, stupid, least useful one to help improve the herd's genetics. The next day, nobody can find the robot. Will goes to the trader's shop because he can't think where else to look.
Ah, how are you, young Mr. Robinson? What can I do for you today?
Have you seen our robot?
Eh? Well,
I've been looking all over for you.
I am here. As you can see, I am unable to leave.
There's nobody else on the planet, and 7 out of the 8 people that are on the planet can't read that script. Who does he expect to come along and buy this stuff? When Will reports what Smith did, that's the last straw for everyone. But it gets worse when Don checks Smith's quarters.
I thought Smith was putting on weight. Now, the trader's been supplying him with all kinds of goodies. What are we going to do about him?
I'm afraid there isn't much we can do. Now, we may not like it, but we're stuck with him.
Well, that's true. But at least we can have as little to do with him as possible.
Dr. Smith comes in and finds himself ostracized. Nobody will speak to him, nobody will look at him, they just glare and walk away.
William, what is the matter? If there is something wrong, please tell me what it is.
You traded the robot. You Benedict Arnold.
Did he really think they wouldn't find out? The traitor has no reason to hide it from them. He's not the one who betrayed the whole group for selfish gain. He can handle the silent treatment from most of them, but not from Will.
I regret deeply what has happened.
A lot of good that's gonna do. Will it get the robot back?
My need for food got the better of my good judgment. I just couldn't help myself.
Sure, I understand. It was just too tough for you.
I believe Will just called Dr. Smith a wuss. He's not wrong, but it takes a lot to drag something like that out of Will.
Please, Will. Nobody wants to talk with me.
Can you blame them?
I made a mistake. I'm terribly sorry about it. If there's anything I can do...
Get the robot back.
Would that make us friends again?
Well, it would help.
Then I'll do it. The very first thing in the morning.
Will says, there you go again. If you really mean all this, do it now. There's no reason to wait.
Is there nothing that you can offer in exchange?
All I have is what you see before you, Mr. Trader.
You mean... Oh, no. Oh, that'd be quite against my... I mean, what would the Traders Association say if they ever heard?
Methinks the trader doth protest too much. It takes Dr. Smith a moment to realize what the trader is saying.
Now, don't worry. Don't get excited, Dr. Smith. Of course I didn't mean that you should trade yourself right away. I mean, not swap yourself immediately. Good heavens, oh, sometime in the future, say 200 years from now.
He says, let's go sign the contract. Dr. Smith says, contract? The trader says, just a formality. Dr. Smith has finally met someone who can out-talk him.
Put your hand there. Now, take your hand away. Here is the robot's power pack.
First, he didn't put his hand on it voluntarily. Second, it's in a language he can't read. I want him to show me any legitimate court in the galaxy that would uphold a contract like that.
Signed, sealed, and I shall take delivery very soon.
Dr. Smith forgot to ask how long a year is on his planet. It's about 17.5 minutes by Earth time. Dr. Smith is back in the family's good graces, and apparently even the robot has forgiven him.
Now catch it this time, you goose. Gently, gently, gently. Miss Fun. Oh, I beg your pardon. There you go. Now get it.
Ah, Dr. Smith. Playing a game of catch, I see.
He says, I came over to say goodbye.
Oh, are you leaving?
Yes, there is an important trade fair being held on the planet Torin.
He should grin at that one because it's an inside joke. The actor's name is Torin Thatcher, and he has a surprise for Dr. Smith.
You are going with me.
What?
Yes, I've decided to exercise the contract I have with you immediately.
Well, I thought your contract with Dr. Smith wasn't effective for another 200 years.
That's what you said. I remember every word distinctly.
A verbal agreement isn't binding, Dr. Smith. You should have read the small print.
Again, he can't read that language. No way a contract like that is binding.
Oh, a word of warning before I leave. I have no quarrel with anybody here. My business concerns Dr. Smith alone. But if you should involve yourselves, I shall have no alternative but to destroy you.
It's been tried by better men than you, trader. You don't know that much about these people. I wouldn't get cocky. That night, Dr. Smith has built himself a sandbag bunker and is wearing a World War I era helmet. I'm not even going to ask anymore.
Dr. Smith? Dr. Smith!
Halt! Halt!
And he's clearly on high alert.
Put down that weapon.
Don't you come any closer, or he'll fire!
At least Will had the good sense not to obey the traitor.
I am ready to leave, Dr. Smith. You belong to me and must come with me. You signed this contract with me, Dr. Smith, and I demand payment.
Dr. Smith!
Okay, a contract that can do that, maybe it could be binding. Shoot it, Will. Shoot the contract, Will. Destroy it.
Dr. Smith!
He's not going to have the good sense to destroy the contract. He will, however, have the good sense to follow them to the trader's ship and study the situation. Dr. Smith is unmind-boggled for now. The trader is packing stuff up, and the dogs are in charge of the prisoner. Some things are the same all over the universe. All dogs chase sticks. Except mine. Throw a stick for him and he'll say, okay, you didn't want it. What are you looking at me for?
You let him get away. After him.
Come on, Dr. Smith, they're getting closer.
I've reached the end of the line, my boy. You better go on without me.
This is no time for your fainting act, Smith. Will keeps him moving in spite of everything, but the dogs are catching up.
Oh, thank heavens I'm saved. My dear, dear friend, how glad I am to see you.
I beg your pardon, sir. I don't believe we've met.
I may have been mistaken about the robot forgiving him. All the same, the three of them reach Smith's bunker.
Run, Will, run!
Here we are!
Well, where have you been?
The traitor got Dr. Smith. I helped them escape.
We were chased for miles by his two monsters. They're probably right behind us.
Well, how'd the traitor get you in the first place?
It's that contract I signed. It gives him some sort of strange power over me.
So the logical thing is to destroy the contract. Will Don think of that?
Dr. Smith is right. He was tricked. From the very first, this alien has resorted to unfair tactics. It was he who destroyed the food and water supply.
What?
Are you sure about that?
There is no mistake. He has a machine which controls the weather.
The trader says, so what? I got what I wanted. He holds the contract up again. There you go, Major. It's a perfect target for you.
Step to the side, Smith!
Seems that Dr. Smith isn't going with you after all. The contract is null and void.
Not to mention short-circuited. Why didn't any of the humans think to do that? They were getting ready to shoot the traitor, not the contract. Well, Don may have been tempted to shoot Dr. Smith, but if he was, he's keeping it to himself. It amazes me that the robot is the only one who thought of destroying the contract.
Dr. Smith will go through his original agreement with you.
What? You traitor!
He will be your property in 200 years.
Ah, exactly so. But don't call me, I'll call you.
I want to be there to see that.
With or without the contract, Smith belongs to me. Fetch him, my pets! Fetch him!
I will destroy.
If anybody's going to do bad things to Dr. Smith, it'll be the robot, thank you very much. He has the biggest gripe. You can have whatever he's done with in 200 years.
Forgive me, but I must say it. This is one time, Dr. Smith, you received more than you bargained for.
Spare me the comedics, you deplorable dummy.
If that's not the perfect capper for this story, there's no such thing. Will, Dr. Smith, and the robot are out hunting for wild truffles, but they found something rather different.
William, what have I told you about handling other people's property?
But Dr. Smith...
But me no buts, my boy. We will respect the rights of others. No doubt the owner will shortly appear to claim his property.
I wonder where it came from and who left it.
That is none of our business. Oh my, those rubies are as large as hen's eggs.
Dr. Smith.
I was only checking to make certain that it was secure.
Dr. Smith says, let's move on. As soon as they're out of sight of the crown, he says, oh bother, I forgot my tool. I'll go back and get it.
Ah. A world ransom in jewels. Now what to do with it? Well.
When Will found Dr. Smith, he was sitting against a rock, alternately going and eating pieces of the crown. Nobody could figure out what to do with him, so they just left him there and brought him a little food every few days. I'll see you next time you find yourself lost in Irvingland.